What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we'll be covering the NBA Finals between the New York Knicks versus the San Antonio Spurs. So let's hop right into the preview. So to recap both teams' journey to the finals, the San Antonio Spurs beat the Trailblazers in round one in 5 games. They beat the Minnesota Timberwolves in 6 games in the second round, and they just knocked off the reigning NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder in 7 games in the Western Conference Finals. And for the New York Knicks, they beat the Atlanta Hawks in 6 games in the first round and then went on to sweep their next 2 matchups between the Sixers and the Cavaliers to get to the NBA Finals. And now looking at some stats from the playoffs so far, we can see that San Antonio has been very solid on both ends of the floor this postseason with the second best net rating at plus 10.4. And the Spurs have been excellent on defense, especially throughout the playoffs, and they continue to be disruptive and force their opponents into a lot of mistakes. And for New York, they have been extremely dominant on both ends of the ball with the best net rating in the playoffs at plus 20.1. And the Knicks have been shooting lights out the past 2 series, and they will definitely need to continue to be efficient from beyond the arc. And looking at the advanced stats for both teams now, we can see that San Antonio has done a great job of attacking the basket and getting to the free throw line in the postseason. And the Spurs have also been extremely disruptive on the defensive end, and they forced a ton of turnovers, and that was on full display against OKC. And for New York, they have been shooting the ball very efficiently and have also gotten a ton of second chance opportunities with guys like Towns, Mitchell Robinson, and Josh Hart crashing the offensive glass. And the Knicks have also been very solid on the defensive glass and have forced a lot of contested shots and have done a really good job of hiding Jalen Brunson on defense. And now looking at the play type efficiencies for both sides, San Antonio has been excellent in the pick and roll, and a lot of that comes from Wemby drawing a ton of attention as a roller, freeing up a lot of their shooters. And the Spurs have also done a really good job of defending spot ups, transition, and the pick and roll, and just have been extremely disruptive, like I mentioned, overall. And New York has been extremely efficient in almost every action, especially spot ups, transition, the pick and roll, and isolation. And on defense, they have also done a good job of defending the roller, which will definitely be important against the Spurs, as well as spot up chances as well. And now looking at the lineups for both teams, first for San Antonio, their starting lineup has been really effective all postseason with a plus 24.7 net rating. And against OKC, we saw them get off to a lot of hot starts throughout that series with this lineup. And for the Spurs, they really struggled without Wemby on the court against OKC. But the lineup of Harper, Castle, Vassell, Champagnie, and Cornet has been pretty efficient in a smaller sample size. In 19 minutes, they've had a plus 52.3 net rating together. And now looking at the Knicks lineup, New York's starting lineup has been playing its best basketball of the season, certainly at the right time, and they have been extremely dominant in the last 2 rounds against Philly and Cleveland. Their starting lineup has a plus 8.8 net rating, which I don't think actually shows their true value on the court together. And the Knicks have been extremely efficient when guys like McBride and Shamet have subbed in for Bridges, with the lineup of Shamet, Brunson, OG, Hart, and Towns having a plus 61.5 net rating together in 21 minutes. And now looking at some projected defensive assignments for the Spurs. First, on Brunson, I definitely think Stephon Castle gets this matchup, as he did an incredible job guarding SGA, forcing him into a ton of bad shots and staying on his feet a lot of the time. And he will have to do a good job of not getting into foul trouble against Brunson. But I would also expect to see a lot of Dylan Harper, Devin Vassell, and Carter Bryant as well. And for Mikal Bridges, I think De'Aaron Fox would get this assignment. But I would expect to see a lot of Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson as well. And then for OG, I think Devin Vassell and Carter Bryant would get a ton of time on him. I think Carter Bryant had some great defensive moments against OKC, and I would expect to see him a ton in this series as well. And then for Josh Hart, I think guys like Julian Champagnie and Harrison Barnes would take this assignment. Obviously, trying to keep him off the offensive glass is the main priority there. And then in the middle, Karl Anthony Towns defended by Victor Wembanyama and Luke Cornet. And now looking at the Knicks defensive assignments, at point guard De'Aaron Fox, I think he's actually guarded by Josh Hart, as Hart did a pretty decent job against Tyrese Maxey in the Philly series, kind of just being able to defend that speed somewhat. And I think it would be backed up by guys like Jose Alvarado and Miles McBride a lot of the time. And then Stephon Castle, I think OG Anunoby gets this assignment, trying to use his strength to keep Castle from getting in the paint and scoring inside. Devin Vassell guarded by Mikal Bridges and backed up by Landry Shamet. I think Mikal's got the size and length to disrupt Vassell there. So I think that's a good matchup for the Knicks. And then Julian Champagnie, I think Brunson will likely guard him as well as Jordan Clarkson. But I think the Spurs will have to do a good job of trying to get Champagnie involved in the action so that Brunson is forced to defend a lot more than he has in the past two series. And then in the paint, Wembanyama guarded by Cat and Mitchell Robinson, and they will definitely have their work cut out for them with this matchup. And now looking at some X factors in the series. First for the Knicks, OG Anunoby was excellent in the first round of the playoffs against Atlanta before getting injured against the 76ers in the second round. But he has had a lot of time to rest before the finals after playing probably not at 100% against Cleveland. And OG has been averaging 20.7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals while shooting 58% from the field, 48% from 3, and 85% from the line. And with Brunson and Cat being guarded by Castle and Wemby a lot of the time, the Knicks will definitely need OG to step up and be a reliable scoring option to take some of that burden off of them. And for the Spurs, Julian Champagnie has been an excellent floor spacer for San Antonio, and he will need to continue to be efficient and effective as a shooter. Champagnie has been averaging 11.6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal per game while shooting 45% from the field, 39% from 3, and 79% from the line. And Julian will likely be guarded by Jalen Brunson a lot of the time, and he will definitely need to be able to put pressure on him defensively and make him work more than he had to in the past two series. And to recap things here today, these two teams have already matched up 3 times this season, with the Knicks winning the season series 2-1, including winning the NBA Cup championship against the Spurs. And New York and San Antonio have definitely been the best 2 teams throughout the entire playoffs by metrics, and they definitely match up very well with one another. For the Knicks, they have been extremely dominant on this 11-game winning streak, and they will definitely look to carry the momentum over to this series, including their hot shooting. And for the Spurs, they get to the finals in Wemby's first postseason run, and they are definitely firing on all cylinders leading up to the finals. So overall, I think this will be an extremely competitive series, and I truly could see this series going either way. However, my overall series prediction will be the New York Knicks winning in 7 games over the San Antonio Spurs. I just think they're playing their best basketball definitely all season, and I trust guys behind Jalen Brunson to step up. I like the offense and what Mike Brown has going on there, and I think that they're going to be able to continue to knock down their shots. And I just think it will be a little too much for the Spurs, but I definitely would not be surprised if the Spurs win the series. And this young core is very impressive. So them being here alone is already an amazing accomplishment. But that is going to be it for me today, everyone. Thank you all so much for listening. And if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.